All right, special treat for us all today. I've got one of Attack's RevOps specialists, my guy Tyler Cruzan here. It's not even Cruzan, it's just Cruzan, isn't it?
It's Cruzan, you got it.
Cruzan. All right, there we go. All right, thanks for being here with us, Ty.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so while I was away dealing with some of the fire stuff, I was checking the Slacks, and everybody was like, "Whoa, you see all this Clay stuff? You seen all the things Tyler's doing in Clay?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm, like, so jealous. I can't wait to get back and figure all this stuff out." And so you were trying to tell me. I said, "No, no, no, no. Let's save it for the video." So let's just kinda start. Give me an overview of what Clay is and how it kind of fits into the overall RevOps, ecosystem.
Sure. So Clay is a platform that really enables you, gives you flexibility to um, enrich, find, transform data. They have a framework that is essentially called FET, which is find, enrich, transform, and export. Just to give you a kind of a grasp of what is capable within the platform, they integrate with a bunch of different tools and allow you to really transform your data into what you need it to be. So it's most useful for you. So
We're
keep it flexible platform.
I gotta go back to FET, okay? So let's say it one more time. Give me FET one more time. Find,
Yeah.
enrich.
Transform and export.
Okay. And so we talk about data and, this is a big ambiguous word. So what exact type of data are we talking about here with Clay?
Sure. So, I mean, you can bring in all sorts of types of data. The most common that you would find would be data that you see in your CRM, like contact, company, deal data. But they also, have the ability for you to go and find jobs or monitor for job changes. So, a variety of different types of data that you can bring in. It's essentially like a blank Excel spreadsheet when you first look at it. And then you can create new columns that have some really custom capabilities with Clay formulas, even using generative AI to help you kind of create your own data if you're missing data.
Okay. Well, why don't you give us a quick little demo and then let me ask all the dumb guy questions as you're showing me how it works. And we can kind of go through maybe some popular use cases that we're seeing out there.
Sure thing. So here I've got just an example Clay table that I've put together and just prepped for us. And how I started was to find people. So you can see here in my find people for the sources of this column, the criteria that I entered, essentially looking for financial services, people working at financial services companies with 11 to 50 up to 200 employees. I'm limiting how many contacts come in per company, focusing on some specific seniority levels and, the country being the United States. Um,
Okay, so these are the common things that you can do with other tools like Zoom Info and Apollo. So Clay's thing is like, okay, that's just the start. That's just the find function, right?
Yep, that's right, and you can actually integrate with other, kind of third-party sales intelligence platforms like Apollo. It is an available integration that you can bring in, and, if you've got a Apollo license, you can connect your account and leverage that, sales intelligence platform to help you find contacts and companies as well.
Okay, so now that we find this data, we want to enrich it.
That's right. So from here, doing some very basic enrichment, we've just from that initial find, utilize some credits to pull some basic information, company name, first name, last name, their job title. We can also pull their company domain and then that LinkedIn profile, that individual LinkedIn profile. So from there, this is a cool feature that they have that allows you to leverage more than one enrichment platform. So here I have a column set up for work email, and it's using a waterfall. So I'll just open in the column settings, and we can see what a waterfall sequence looks like. Essentially, you can specify the different email enrichment platforms that you would want to use, and what Clay is going to do once you run this column for every row is first check with, the first listed um, enrichment source. If it doesn't find anything from that enrichment source, it's going to move on to the next one until it gets a positive result. So I'll go ahead and run that for work email, and we can see how it goes for us. We'll just do it on our first 10 rows. So that'll take a little bit of time to run through the whole waterfall sequence, but I'll go ahead and open it up. We can see that from our first check, we're already finding some results. And for the ones that we didn't find a result, it's going to move on to that next enrichment platform. And then it does have a validation service that's kind of built right within. So yes, you're finding an email, but is it valid? We're going to check right away.
Wow. That's fascinating and
Yeah.
quite
So
quick. Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty quick. So once you get a result, you'll see your data kind of begin to file in, and then you can take that data and use it for whatever is the most important for you. So if you're a salesperson looking for new prospects, you might want to uh, get Clay's help generating some personalized sales outreach content for emails. You might just want to conduct some overall company research. Here next we can move on to our next column where I've set up a Google search um, action. So here we've got our individual, person LinkedIn profile, and from there, I'm just going to run an action that will search on Google and try and identify a company LinkedIn as well. So I'll go ahead and run that for our first 10 rows.
Wow. So I like this because you're starting with the basics, right? We can find a work email, we can find the company LinkedIn data. What is some of the further, more like intent data things that we should be looking at?
Yeah. So something that's really exciting that I've had the opportunity to work with is looking at job changes and monitoring for promotions so that you can identify places where there might be some personnel shifts within a company that open up an opportunity for you. They may not be searching directly for your company quite yet, but you can kind of come in with some information that and can apply yourself to a potential problem or opportunity that they have, and kind of generate that intent for yourself. There's a variety of different integrations and pre-built templates that they have, just kind of right within the platform that enable you to go and look for intent. So let's see if we can find any templates.
Wow.
So yeah, once again, leaning in on the Apollo integration, there's some intent that you can find to show the intent of different contacts and companies, and enrich that data from there.
When you say the Apollo integration, is that something that we have to even install, or is that just part of the Clay ecosystem?
So with the Apollo integration, that is something that you would have to leverage your own license to utilize. But there are a number of different integrations that are just a Clay managed account. So you can utilize a Clay managed ChatGPT account, and Anthropic, I believe, with Claude. You can use that through Clay, and is same with Clearbit. You can leverage some Clearbit data. It just costs some kind of predefined credits for when you're
Yeah.
carrying out these enrichments.
Crazy. I feel like it's overwhelming and all the things that it can do, and we're only at 2/4, or I guess half of the half of the features. So we get the find, I get the enrich. Now, what's the next one? Transform.
Transform. So I'm going to run this find job openings column that I put together, which is essentially going to search on LinkedIn to find some job openings. And then I've actually set up a column here for inferred problem. And I'll just open this up so that we can identify what's going on here inside this column. So here is a action using Clagent, which is a web research that has the capabilities of scraping data off of the web. So what I've done here is enter in a prompt to identify an inferred problem based on a job opening that a company has. And then that inferred problem should identify an opportunity where a RevOps agency might be able to support. So here we have that inferred problem coming in, and we're essentially transforming data that we're finding on these job opening posts and using it to kind of give us uh, an edge on where our in might be with this contact or company.
Very cool.
And then that last step after you've transformed data, which you can do a lot more when it comes to transformation, just utilizing ChatGPT. If you have a job description sourced from a LinkedIn profile, you could have ChatGPT just provide a quick summary, maybe 2 sentences that you want to have to transform that data. If you've got, um, we've already got first and last names split out from the full name. But if you just have full name from the data that you bring in, you can run a quick formula, just writing in simple text to say, hey, pull all of the strings or pull a string of text that is before the space and enter that into this column. And then pull the string of text that is after the space. And then you can kind of infer that it would be first and last name to quickly transform data that wasn't as clean as you need it to be to get it exactly as you need. So here we're starting to get some results back for our inferred problem. We can just get a quick look into what that response is. So here we're seeing Dynasty Financial Partners faces challenges effectively managing its marketing and sales operations, kind of giving that salesperson or even marketing and customer success an in on what the potential opportunity for growth with a different company or contact might be.
So I think what's really fascinating to me about this is so much of marketing and sales is getting the right message to the right person at the right time, right? And I recently, in a dealing with the fallout of a natural disaster, I can tell you that nothing felt dumber than reading a bad cold email or getting a bad cold call. It's like, hey man, my house just burnt down. I don't care about your stupid product or service. And I don't think that you can figure that out from this, but when these things work, where they work is because they're serendipitous, right? You're
Right.
able to solutions to people who have these problems. And so being able to go through all of these steps just to kind of figure out who has these problems is going to help you make sure that you're reaching out to the right person or at least the right company who, can actually utilize the services that you offer and that could help make change. And I think you did it through a great lens here, right? Of just looking at a job opening, because a job opening is going to tell you where, people are looking for help. Are there other areas other than job openings you can figure out where some of these inferred problems are?
Sure. So something that you just mentioned, you have posted, I believe, once or twice, and mentioned that you've gone through this horrible disaster of fires. You can actually leverage recent LinkedIn posts to inform some content that you might be generating. To say, "Hey, I saw your post about fill in the blank," and then prompt ChatGPT or Claude or Clagent to really resonate with that specific sentiment in how your outreach might be crafted. So LinkedIn posts, it's been popular to see like a SEC filing data. So if you want to take a company's financials, you can refer to that specifically. Um, it, there's a wide variety of different ways that you can kind of source some hyper personalized content.
My God, like, yeah, I think just hearing about it, the possibilities are endless, and we'll have to talk to you offline about learning more about these, and we could probably follow up with some more fun videos, seeing all the things that they do or that Clay does. But I assume, this last part, export, this is where you take all this information and you bring this into your CRM or some sort of database.
Yep, that's right. So getting the data ready to be used, and then once it is ready to use, you can very easily export that data. So Here at Attack, we love HubSpot. So I went ahead and set up a few actions leaning on that HubSpot integration. It appears that it's already run for us as the previous columns have run, but you can see here that I'm first looking up this object to see, okay, can we find a contact that has this same work email inside of our HubSpot portal? So it's first going to check that. If it successfully finds an object through that lookup, then I've set up this update object column to only run if we've got, let's see, lookup object. If we find an object, then we're going to be updating that object rather than creating one new, potentially having duplicates within your CRM. But since these are net new contacts that we don't yet have in our CRM, we have this create object column, which is set up to go ahead and create a contact inside of HubSpot. We've mapped a few fields that we want to pull that are existing here inside of our table. And then we also have some run conditions set up here. So only run that create record, create object column if we do not find anything inside of our lookup object column. And we have a successfully enriched work email. So we wouldn't be able to create a contact if we don't have a unique identifier of an email in HubSpot. So that's just kind of refining how we're creating different objects.
So I love this. I love how in the weeds you are and understanding it. But what is this outcome? So I'm a salesperson. We just went through all of this. And so let's assume that instead of being this awesome RevOps specialist at Attack, you're a sales operations specialist for another company. You just did all of this stuff and now I'm the sales guy. What did you just give me and what should I do with it?
Yeah, I mean, you can carry out your typical everyday motions of emailing, calling people. You can use it to just conduct research, enrich your CRM with data you didn't have before. I think there's really the sky's the limit with how you're going to apply a clay table, and Clay knows this. They know people are intimidated when they see this blank canvas when they first open up a table. So really identifying what that purpose is up front is super helpful for when you're creating these different tables. But I think for a salesperson, it's leveraging the intelligence that you're able to lean on and kind of AI supported web scraping to get data that would typically be really cumbersome to find on your own, and then having a table where you can do it at scale. So where research on a specific company or contact might have taken you 10, 15 minutes to do on your own, and you have to write that summary yourself or kind of make your own assessment of what's going on, you can lean on some AI intelligence to help you do that at scale.
All right. So my last question, because I get in this boat all the time. I have other customers who are in this boat all the time. All right. Clay seems cool. We're using HubSpot. You guys told us that Apollo is really cool too. We got all these tools. And that's another thing. Like, why? Why should we add Clay? Like, what is it about Clay that makes it must have or yeah, a need to have instead of want to have?
Yeah, I think it's the flexibility that's offered within the platform. It doesn't just have that sales use case, that marketing use case that you might find with different tools, like those sales intelligence platforms. It really is, moldable to what your specific need is. And I think that's why it really fits in well. Somebody who's super technical would maybe want to lean on it for its custom integration capabilities, where it can kind of be a middleware to take data from one platform, transform that data, and get it ready for export into a different platform. So I think the flexibility of the platform really drives it home for how it can be a value add for different companies.
Yeah, I can see that we're just scratching the surface for all the things you can do. So, okay, I mean, Clay, it seems like it's going to be part of many a RevOps tech stack here as we move forward into 2025. And I love learning about these new tools. I love seeing different use cases of how we can continue to help make marketing and sales operations better. So Tyler, thank you so much for your time. This was really, really cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's it for today. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and make sure you hit subscribe so you can see our latest videos as soon as they drop. We really appreciate you watching. See you next time.